One of the things I wanted to do today is give you a glimpse into a little bit of what we're doing in our UF 100 classes. And one of the things that all of our UF 100 classes do is use clickers. So I have an initial question for you. So you should just be able to pick up your clicker as soon as this polling is now open. You should be able to select any one of these answers, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so that's a big chunk of folks who have actually never used clickers, 50%, right? So this is one of the things we get an instant response. Clickers give us this instant feedback from our students, which we can use really well to find out what can they actually retain. So you've given 10, 15 minutes of information, and you can actually ask them a question about what did you retain? And you can find out really quickly, do you need to spend more time on it or not? So I'm going to ask another question. Which University Foundations course is for transfer students with an academic associate's degree? So 67% of you are correct. It is UF 300. There are a few other rules about who gets into UF 300, who has to take UF 100, who has to take UF 200. All of that's available on Foundational Studies website. So what I've done now, with the very first question, asking who had used clickers and who hadn't, I was actually setting up teams. So you're now on teams, okay? So the second question was actually the first score for your team. So this is the average score of the team that you're on, depending on which one you clicked. 65%, yes. There also is a way to find out if those other 67% who got UF 300 correct are the ones who got this one correct, but we're not tracking you individually that way today. So yes, UF 200 is the University Foundations course. It's primarily focused on ethics and diversity. And in the handout in front of you, in that packet, there's a little rundown about UF 200, about UF 300, and about all of the individual UF 100 courses. There are 7 themed courses for UF 100, which is a course that freshmen take when they first get to Boise State University. 7 different themes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one, but I wanted you to have that packet. It's really a summation that each of the lead faculty put together, who those faculty are, what the theme of the course is, what some common assignments are, and what the objectives are of their courses. So here's where we're going to go. We're going to talk a little bit about collaborations. What kind of collaborations does University Foundations have? What are the collisions that we've come across in foundational studies? What are the challenges that we've come across, especially in this past semester? And then finally, what are the critical intersections? So where do we go from here? What's our next step? Team teaching. University, how many UF 100 faculty do we have here? These are your team teachers here, right? There are 2 lead faculty for every UF 100 course, and then it varies depending on the particular course, but anywhere between 5 to 10 discussion group leaders. The discussion groups are broken down into smaller groups. There are about 24, 25 students. This is one of the challenges for our students, is this moving between this small group and the plenary. Moving between these 2 groups was a real challenge. These different learning environments was really challenging for our students. But team teaching is one of the collaborative elements. Student-faculty relationships, obviously that's a collaborative element of this process. And student teams. Every UF 100 course has student teams, so collisions. Team teaching is a beautiful thing. And it is very challenging, right? Anytime you have more than one voice in the conversation, decisions take longer, right? You have more things to work out. Very, very often you get to a much stronger place. It just takes longer to get there, and sometimes it's more challenging. This is what one of the team faculty for UF 100 said. Team teaching this course was the most rewarding experience of our professional careers. getting students to understand these ULOs, right? Getting them to understand that no matter what the content is, learning to think critically, learning to work in teams, learning to communicate orally and in written form is sometimes challenging if it doesn't have to do exactly with their focused discipline. So here's a student who actually was able to make the leap. This is one of the toughest classes I've taken so far, but I really have enjoyed this class. I have learned to think for myself. I don't just regurgitate information anymore. I thought a great way for you to see what happened in these classes. So why are these students saying this? What's going on in these classes is to actually see student work. So we had the ULOs as our base. Critical inquiry being really key to these digital projects. Digital fluency being a goal, not a ULO, but being a goal for these. And the two I want to show you a couple of UF 100 final digital projects, and for UF 300, which is for transfer students, an e-portfolio. There is a website that you have access to in your, let's see what page. On the second page at the bottom, sample UF 100 projects. It will take you to this page. And you can see for all 7 courses, there are examples of final projects that came out of those courses. There are some amazing, great projects. If you want to see what students are doing in these courses, this is a great place for you to go. Any questions at this point? Yeah. I'm going to allow you to wager your points. Take a minute and decide how much do you want to wager on the next question of the points that you have now. The category. I'm going to guess it has to do with foundational studies. Is that you? Oh, that's great. All right, so you get to choose between an almond roca and a peppermint patty. Throw you one. Almond roca. Yes. Nice job, everybody. Okay, so this is the last question. Who are the partners of the Foundational Studies program? All of the President's Office, of course, the Provost, academic departments, of course, there are partners, but so is everyone else. Advisors, staff, parents, students themselves, everyone in this room, everyone on this campus is a partner of Foundational Studies. In order to make this program a success, in order to get students to invest completely in these courses, everyone on campus needs to have an understanding of Foundational Studies, where we are, where we're headed, what we're doing. And there are note cards on your table. And whatever thoughts you have, I would love to gather those up about how do we make this program successful? What do we need to do? What do you need to do as a campus? What do we need? So if you could just write a couple ideas down, you can bring them up to me or just throw them into the middle of your table. And then if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to get in touch with myself or with Vicky Stiha or with Tammy Warenko. Thank you very much.